We've got a great sponsor tonight, Tax Network USA. Make sure you guys go to tnusa.com/Tim. Thank you to Tax Network USA for sponsoring the show. The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. And with April 15th fast approaching, it's more aggressive than ever. In 2025, enforcement has ramped up. And if you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, waiting is not an option. The longer you do, the worse it gets. Ignoring your tax troubles is the worst thing you can do. April 15th marks another tax year that has passed you by. Getting ahead of this now is the smart move, but never contact the IRS alone. Instead, let the experts at Tax Network USA handle it for you. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. Tax Network USA has a preferred direct line to the IRS, meaning they know exactly which agents to deal with and which to avoid. With proven strategies to settle tax problems in your favor, whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, Tax Network USA's attorneys and negotiators have already resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Wow. Talk with one of their strategists today. It's free. Stop the threatening letters, stop looking over your shoulder, and protect yourself from property seizure and bank levies. Don't let the IRS control your future. Call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Tim. April 15th is just around the corner. Act now before the IRS acts first. And I want you to say this, a little personal message. I've got friends who are dealing with some of this stuff. I personally recommended Tax Network USA to them, told them they should reach out and get this stuff resolved. I'm saying that literally outside of the sponsor read. These guys are great. So at 1 o'clock, Nick Sortor, who's sitting right here, tweets, exclusive, Eric Swalwell panics when I ask about his Chinese spy girlfriend. It's Feng Feng, in fact. It's Feng. That's how you pronounce it.
Oh, no, not Fang Fang.
Not Fang, it's Feng
Bang
Feng.
Bang Fang Fang. Okay.
No. And whether that's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sat next to a drunk Swalwell at dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists he just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help cheating on his wife. Massive national security threat. This guy should have his clearances revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored of his wife and only wants to tens. Did I say teens in the intro? I meant tens. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power on the House Intel Committee, which he's since been booted off of, saying he pushed to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot AF. This guy must be removed from the Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude looked absolutely terrified, 100% guilty. He knows he's been caught. So here's actually some of the video. Now, this video, it's got 30,000 retweets already, 10 million views. Well, this is just a video of Swalwell being questioned. So as I understand it, as we are getting ready for the show, you've got recordings and you've got photos of him in this public event. And my understanding is you were sitting in a public place, minding your own business when he sits down, again, in a public place, and then just starts bloviating.
Yeah, correct. I mean, yeah, I just took my girlfriend to dinner. That's it. I was going there. I was tired. I just wanted to go somewhere close to where I was staying at the time. Let's just say I'm going to move from where that location was because, after you do something like this, they're like watching to see where I'm going and stuff. And it was just, it was a little bit weird. I really don't trust these people. Let's just say that much. But, we're sitting there. I'm eating. I just ordered my food and there's tables open. I mean, we're talking 10 o'clock at night. So it wasn't exactly crowded at this restaurant. And for whatever reason, with all the tables open in the restaurant, he sits right next to me. I mean, directly I could hear every word coming out of his mouth. And so could, my phone. I was talking to my girlfriend. We were talking about the German elections and we were going to do a video. And so I sit here and all I did, I have my phone recording and it's directly in front of me, but my phone was able to hear literally everything that was going on in the direct vicinity. And the guy was screaming. It's like everybody in the restaurant was able to hear what he was saying and he didn't care. I don't know. I don't know if he was drunk before he got there or they got him drunk once he got there. I mean, he only had, he had a few wines, but he started just spouting off immediately as he got there.
Let's start this. I'm aware of who Swalwell is. I know a lot of people are. He's the guy who famously, I believe he broke wind while on MSNBC. Was that the story?
That's the story.
Yeah, it was loud. It almost sounds fake, but
we will pull this up. And then MSNBC, I believe, claimed that it was a mug moving across a desk, which is just literally not true. And he got roasted by everybody. But anyway, I digress. This was 5 years ago. He was on the House Intelligence Committee. And can you give us a little background of like what this guy's involved with and why this is so important? Like this story is so big.
Yeah, and so years ago, one of the most the things that Eric Swalwell was most famous for was dating a chick named Fang Fang or Fong Fong, whatever you want to say, who ended up being a Chinese spy. He dated her for a long time, and it was finally outed. It got the only good thing that Kevin McCarthy ever did was kick Swalwell off of the Intelligence Committee. But the problem is now he's still on the Homeland Security Committee, which is a problem, which means he's got a clearance. That means he's getting confidential information. And all it takes for him to start spouting off to random people that he just met, he didn't know these lobbyists' names. They had to tell him their names when he first met them, and it took maybe 10 minutes for him to start divulging information about him trying to cheat on his wife.
So just real quick for some irreverent context, this is Eric Swalwell. Can we pull this one up?
Taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans...
You heard him pause.
He moved back. He sat back and paused.
This was a big story because he was on the Intelligence Committee talking about Trump, the Ukraine scandal, and Trump's impeachment. This was, I'm pulling this up because, look, with all due respect, this was one of his most notable moments. I'm not, but it's true. It is funny, and people make fun of him for it, but most people don't know who this guy is or why it matters. Here he is on MSNBC accusing Donald Trump of cheating or trying to by soliciting support from the Ukrainians that resulted in his impeachment.
Taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans, taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election.
Okay, that guy farted on TV.
I mean, look, he paused.
He paused and sat back.
So give us some examples of like what was he saying he wanted to do, had done? He's admitting to abusing power.
Admitting to abusing power, but one of the first things he said to this guy, this lobbyist that he had just met, was talking about how he was bored of his wife and how he wants somebody more ambitious, and he only wants to fuck. Sorry, that's what he said. He only wants to F10s. And I don't know what you think. Is Fang Fang a 10? I mean, would you go that far with that?
I've never actually. I don't know what she looks like. But I got to correct you. It's Fong Fong.
Fong Fong.
I believe it's
She did die in a plane crash a couple years ago.
Oh, no.
Did she really?
What?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Yeah.
You made that up.
No. No. She died in 2022 on a China Eastern plane crash. And it said I'm looking at Twitter from November 9th, 2023, where it says a year ago that she died in a plane crash. And then it emerged that Fang Fang, the chief financial officer of Dinglong Culture, died in the plane crash.
Wow.
In March 2022, she died in that plane crash.
But my entire point behind talking about this and why I think that it's such a big deal is because if he is willing to say these things to people he just met, doesn't know, didn't even know their names, what did he tell to somebody like Fang Fang?
Speaker Johnson needs to do something.
Right.
Speaker of the House needs to
but let's get some of the meat here.
Sure.
Right? Because I understand, we're all concerned about him. He's a Democrat. He's doing bad things. He talked about orgies on Capitol Hill.
Right.
What did he say?
Bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill. Talks about. I mean, it's almost like he was talking about it like it's an open secret, and that
it is.
Everybody. Yeah, we're right. I mean,
Madison Cawthorn warned everybody, and they called him a liar.
Right, and what did they do to him? They found a way to get rid of him. Yeah. But one of the biggest concerns that I had, listening to that conversation and. Was him talking about his time on the Intelligence Committee and how he wanted to literally subpoena Ivanka Trump because she was, hot as
AF.
Hot AF. But actually saying the words and then going on and on about it. This wasn't just a passing comment. He was talking about how we originally we're going to subpoena Jared Kushner, but I pushed to try to get Ivanka Trump in there too because man, she's just hot as. And,
wow.
And it's all on recording. I'm like, my God. I looked at my girlfriend and she looks back at me and I'm like, we couldn't believe what we were hearing, that this guy is saying this loudly in a public restaurant.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a Monday night, too.
Right.
Not even like a Friday or Saturday.
People 5 tables away could have heard this.
So this is yesterday.
This is last night.
Last night, you're just sitting there having dinner and dude sits down. Again, I'm stressing the public because we're talking about the risks to national security. A guy with security clearance in the Intelligence Committee in a public place, bloviating as loudly as possible to the point where people all around him can hear it, and you're able to pick it up on a recording.
Right.
He's just spilling the beans and everything.
Not with a device, just with my phone just sitting in front of me. I mean, I didn't need to bug the table or anything. It just, the phone right in front of me was enough to capture I probably could have had the phone a few tables away and still gotten the conversation. It was absolutely crazy. But I've already had members of Congress reach out to me about this. He's not going to have a good week after. Let's just say that it's that.
Right off the bat, I mean, this is what you've told us so far, and again, you're going to go through the recordings, and we'll see what happens. But the stuff we know already, I'll put it like this: I'm sure I speak for a lot of people who are like, I want to see the recording, like I want to know that it actually happened. What was said was said. That being said, like you obviously have photos and recordings. You do, and you obviously were there. You have videos of the guy. So
if you watch the video of me confronting him, I actually mentioned some of the stuff that I'm mentioning right now. I asked him for comment. Like, you want to comment on the fact that you don't want to bang your wife anymore because you want to bang tens in D.C.? I asked him that as he was walking.
Does he not know he's famous? It's so weird.
Yeah, and then he looks at me like a deer in the headlights, like, oh my God, how this guy's been sitting next to me for an hour and a half.
This warrants expulsion.
Yeah, it absolutely warrants expulsion. Absolutely.
But they're never going to do it. I mean,
he should at least, like Phil was saying, be pulled off those committees.
Yeah.
Well, he's off intel already, right?
I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, this kind of behavior should mean that he can't be on any committees. He should lose all appointments.
Right.
He can obviously, if his constituents want him to stay, then he can stay. But there's no reason for the speaker or any committee to allow him to stay, considering this type of behavior.
Right.
He's on judiciary.
Yeah, he's on Homeland Security.
He's on Homeland Security.
Which is really dangerous.
Cybersecurity and infrastructure.
Clearly lose his clearance.
Protection.
After Fong Fong? Like, why is he on Homeland Security? I mean, it seems like a big oversight.
So that Fong Fong thing was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And he got into these things after the fact.
Yeah. So
who's... Right. 2.5 years ago, this whole thing came out. And so you have Speaker Johnson. He's the one that has the power to decide who's on what committee.
Who issues his clearance? Like, who could revoke his clearance? Obviously, the president could revoke his clearance, but who else? Like, what other authorities would be involved in repealing or revoking his clearance? Because he shouldn't have a clearance.
No, he cannot be trusted. I don't care, Republican or
absolutely.
Democrat. People are like, oh, well, you're attacking this guy because he's a Democrat or whatever. No.
So
he spent all day yesterday attacking Dan Crenshaw for saying that he wanted to murder Tucker Carlson.
That was crazy.
Yeah, what
is going on?
Right. It's like, what is up with these people?
Congressmen are just losing it.
You've got Rep Garcia, who we're going to censure this week. For saying that he wants people to bring actual weapons against Elon Musk.
I really love the idea.
That was crazy.
These people are increasingly brazen. You have these Democrats out there protesting, saying that this is war now and we need to fight in the streets.
Jasmine Crockett, she's out of control.
Particularly in a climate where we had 2 attempts on the sitting president's life. There are constant.
That makes a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. There was an attack at there was a Tesla dealership that was shot out. Now that's symbolic, but they didn't expect to hit Musk. But the point is, it was a violent attack on something that was representative of Elon Musk. There was I don't know what the deal surrounding the bomb in
Las Vegas
of the Tesla truck, but in this environment, in this climate, having people in positions of authority, and again, being in Congress does make a difference as to what you say. We do have the freedom of speech, but if you're in a position of authority, you have to be careful what you're saying when it comes to things like violent rhetoric. If it's a Republican that says these kind of things, people on the left are doing all they can to have as damaging repercussions happen as possible. And I think that it should be the same standard should be held to the Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you go to these protests now, because I'm in D.C. a lot, and I go to these protests on Capitol Hill. You see every single time at this point, you see somebody, there's this one woman that goes every time wearing a Luigi hat with an anti-Elon Musk sign. You know exactly what she's calling for. She's openly doing it, and nothing is done about it because,
there's no imminent threat created.
I know, and so, but these people are being emboldened. They're going. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, where luckily we have Eagle Ed Martin, the new U.S. attorney, Trump's new U.S. attorney up there, that is investigating this chick on TikTok that's coming out and literally saying, "Somebody please assassinate Elon Musk," and saying that she hasn't filed taxes for 8 years, which is a really stupid admission. Maybe she should call your sponsor. I don't know, but
there's another woman that's going viral right now where she was saying something to the effect of, we all know what needs to be done.
Right.
And then, there's tons of these videos where they try to use innuendo to call for violence. Mm-hmm. But it does look like we got Dan and Cash, and they're going to be taking these things more seriously. This administration, of course, is going to take things much more seriously. And I think you mentioned in response that went on TikTok calling for harm to Elon Musk, a U.S. attorney directly responded saying, we're going to get...
Yeah, we'll be in contact. Talk soon.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, ha, 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 don't make this go viral. Oh, no, I'm going to get in trouble. But they want to go viral.
Right.
I mean, what people need to understand is that while certainly there are a lot of extremists and they're crazy, when you remember these videos where people would dress up like killer clowns and anything to go viral. Remember the knockout game?
Yep.
Anything to go viral. People want to film these videos. They do videos where they pull up to drive-thrus and then throw food at the workers and do horrible things. Or how about the milk videos? You have the videos where they go to Walmart and they jump up on the counter and then they slam the milk on the ground and then dump it all over themselves while screaming because it gets views. These people on TikTok and other platforms calling for violence are doing it for many of them, not all of them, but many of them for that reason, because they know it'll get them attention.
Right.
But it also should get them legal attention. It should get them law enforcement attention.
And I believe that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And very happy to see it.
How come
Definitely
TikTok
should.
leaves
People
that
should know
stuff up?
That's what's going to happen.
Oh, TikTok banned us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like
They
literally
banned
just
you,
yesterday night.
Yeah, and I can't post so I was down at the border investigating, down there and showing how easy it was to go back and forth between Mexico and the United States. You just walk around the fences during the Biden administration, and they suspended me for that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so, why can you post things calling for the assassination of a government official, but I can't show the border wall?
I'm going to assume that TikTok did delete that video she posted. Because if it's still out, that'd be surprising.
She removed her own account. So.
Well, there you go. So, but I will say this. I think it's highly likely that first it's been reported Kellyanne Conway is lobbying for TikTok, and that's probably why Trump supports it. Trump is just sitting there being like, wow, I do well on TikTok. He doesn't. And it's funny because with all due respect to Riley Gaines, when everyone started jumping out and defending TikTok, she did as well. And she said something like, I've got 600,000 followers on TikTok. There's an audience there for this. And I'm like, Dylan Mulvaney has 13 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to entertain a website or a mobile app, whatever, that is going to make sure 13 million people they're going to keep being fed gender ideology and wokeness, and then 600,000 are allowed to get anti-woke stuff. Okay, you're losing. You are losing. And this is an app we have there's no rules. We don't know what we're allowed to do. So we recently launched a new account kind of to prove the point, because Trump said no. It's going to say, okay, we talked to the social team, said launch a TikTok, and then we got a warning within a week, and we got banned again. And what do we say on this show that in any way ever is beyond the boundaries of what is acceptable in public discourse? You've got people on TikTok who post way crazier things. You've got people sharing the Osama bin Laden letter. You've got people pushing innuendo, hint to Luigi Mangione. And everyone knows what it means. TikTok has no problem with it. We never go anywhere near that stuff. They take us down. The first video that got flagged was a clip from IRL, which I wasn't even on. It was Sam Tripoli. And he was talking about energy vampires. And they said, that breaks the rules, and gave us a warning. Do it again, you're banned. We're like, what? It was a joke. It was a joke
What do you
about
mean? That's crazy.
psychic energy vampires.
Yeah.
It's just a joke about how people drain your energy sometimes.
That happens.
And
That's their concern?
And then just the other day, I don't know why, but they said we are permanently banned once again from TikTok.
They have an algorithm that feeds based on location, and they were feeding this teenager in Long Island train suicide videos.
Whoa.
And then he stepped in front of a train.
Wow.
And his parents are trying to sue TikTok, but like this is what happened. This is what they saw fit to
and
feed
Trump's
this
and
boy.
Trump's defending it.
Yeah, I think that Congress was
Wrong.
right to ban TikTok. I think it's I understand all your slippery slope arguments, but like get it off our phones, get it out of our kids' hands, get it out of our brains. We don't need it.
Right. And one of the arguments that people say is, oh, well, just if they give you a violation and take down your video, just appeal it and it'll go back up. Okay, well, you've already killed they'll wait 24 hours, 48 hours, and maybe they'll put it back up, but that distribution is already killed. So it's not going to go anywhere anymore. That they will silence you and make sure that whatever you post is out of the news cycle by the time that they even let you put it up there. I mean,
Trump's got financial interests around him that are defending TikTok for no legitimate reason, as far as I can tell. So Charlie Kirk and Trump have done a hard 180 on TikTok with no explanation. I like Charlie. He does amazing work, some of the best work in politics. He, along with Scott Pressler, did tremendous to help Trump win. I think the Trump administration's been fantastic. That being said, I still have never been given a legitimate reason from Charlie or Trump or anyone defending TikTok as to why they did a 180. Nothing's changed. The data fears are still there. The algorithm fears are still there. It's just all of a sudden they're like, no, we're good with it now. I'm not.
Well, you would think that rather than face the total shutdown of your app, if there was actually if we're talking about a legitimate business here, why not go through and sell it for $100 billion to a U.S. company? Why? At the end of the day, what are they going to do? They're going to shut it down? They're going to say, "Oh, well, we don't want it anymore."
They shut it down for one day, wasn't it? One day.
Yeah, one day.
And now
It was like hardly shut
And that was
down
fake.
at all. Yeah.
That was not shut down. That was TikTok. TikTok chose to disable their servers for users, and then chose to turn them back on, because the bill just removed it from the Play stores and from U.S. servers, which didn't affect them. They pulled a stunt to be like, we're taking down. Sorry, hey, Trump did this, and maybe for that reason, Trump was like, I'll take the boost among young people or something.
Well, it's still not available on Apple and Google.
It is.
They just put it back.
They just put
Well,
it
it's been back for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.